everyone, and welcome back to MTU Esports. Tonight, your Michigan Tech Huskies Rocket League team ends their regular season with their final matchup of the year against Spring Hill College. I'm Jake, I go by Scrimpy, and tonight I'm joined by...
I'm Trevor, and I go by Gary Wilson Jr. 52.
And Trevor, could you go over the rosters that we're going to see in tonight's matchup for us?
Absolutely, yeah. So for MTU, we have our captain Isaac as Stewie, Lucas as Grape, and Hunter as Carrot. And then for the opposing team, we have Zach, Chase P, and Reax.
All right, and like I said, tonight is the final regular season game of the Huskies Rocket League season, but that is not going to be the end of the Rocket League played this semester because the Huskies have guaranteed themselves a playoff spot. With a 6-2 record going into this match, they are guaranteed to be the 3 seed in their conference, and since the top 4 all make it to the national playoffs, that means that they will be part of that 8-team national playoff bracket. We believe their opponent is set to be Cumberland University next Tuesday, so this match, while it does not have any playoff implications, this is a way to build momentum after a tough loss to RIT last week, where the Huskies went down in a sweep, but of course every single game of that was a one-score game. Game 2 went to OT. Honestly, probably the best 3-game series of Rocket League you'll ever see. I'd recommend checking it out if you have not already. But this is a chance for them to get back on the right track, establish that momentum, because it's only going to get harder from here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, RIT was probably one of the toughest games they've had. It was definitely a back and forth, of course. But yeah, it's only going to get harder from here. All these teams that they're going to be going against in the nationals are they're all top. They're all the top teams from their divisions. So
yeah, we're gonna see the top tier of Rocket League starting next week, and we've already seen a couple of those really tough teams. Seton Hall and the Rochester Institute of Technology (RIT) are the 2 teams that Michigan Tech went down to this year, and of course they are going to finish as the number 1 and number 2 seeds in the conference because of those wins largely. But we're going into the postseason now. We're going to be facing a team from the other conference in this league to start. We know that for sure. We're almost certain it's going to be Cumberland. But if things change at the last minute, then it could be a different team. So we'll see how that shakes out. We'll keep you posted as we know more. But it seems like this is going to be a really big match. Huskies might be the underdogs depending on how Cumberland plays this week, but it will be a very exciting match to watch for sure. Hopefully a very close one as well. So be sure to come back next Tuesday for the Rocket League postseason. But we still have a match to talk about here tonight, so we'll get ready for that in just a bit. Before we continue, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to both our YouTube and Twitch channels. Both handles are at MTU Esports, so you can stay up to date with all of the titles that Michigan Tech Esports is playing in any given semester. Also, if you need a place close to campus, we have the places for that. Find the perfect location, live where you want to live. Go check out HoughtonForRent.com. Thank you to Bradway Enterprises for sponsoring tonight's stream. We are going to take a quick intermission while we wait for the players to load into the match lobby, so we'll be right back for the start of Game 1. Welcome back, everybody. Still waiting for the Spring Hill players to check in for this match. So in the next couple of minutes, if they do not show up, this match will be logged to forfeit, which means that there will unfortunately not be a final game of the regular season for the Huskies, at least that is actually played. But before that happens, let's go over a bit of a year in a review here. Just talk about how the Huskies have gotten to this point, because it has been a very interesting season to watch. Obviously, a couple challenges along the way here, but still a very exciting year for Michigan Tech Rocket League. Started off the year really strong, back-to-back sweeps against Stony Brook and Keene State College, both of which are teams that are still in the hunt for that 4th seed in the playoffs. If we do wind up having a match result before the stream ends, we know who the last team to squeak into the playoffs is. We'll be sure to let you know. But for the moment, 2 interesting teams there, 2 solid teams, and Michigan Tech just came out ready to just take those teams on and took them out quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember that game. Those 2 games were a lot of aggressive playing. From MTU. That's how they got their foot started there. I think was with those 2 games.
Few bumps and demos along the way too. I remember that being a particular thing. I think in the Keene State game that happened quite a bit. But Michigan Tech, the offense just off to a roaring start in those first 2 games. Really exceptional play on both sides of the ball throughout those first 2 series. Then a bit of trouble in week 3 as they went up against Rowan. Rowan actually took the first game off the Huskies, but then next 3 games, bang, 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 just put the series to an end there, won that series 3-1. Yep. That was a very competitive series as well. I'd say probably the best match of the season behind the RIT game last week, if you're looking to see some highlight reel type stuff for the Huskies. So really nice game there. And then, of course, in week 4, the matchup against Seton Hall, which wound up being a 3-0 sweep in favor of Seton Hall, gave the Huskies their first loss of the year. But again, lots of things to like, especially game 1 of that series. I remember being particularly close.
Yeah.
Games 2 and 3 got away from them a little bit at the end there, but they kept themselves in it for the last few minutes. It's just got desperate at the end, needed a couple goals to fall, and unfortunate 2-point swings wound up costing them those games.
Yeah.
But so, 5 weeks into the year, they're sitting at 4-1. They have a bye they pick up against Fisher, and then on top of that, 2 more really good series against Clark and University of Toledo. They did drop a game against Toledo, the game 2 of that series. I keep forgetting about. The 2 of us could not stop talking about that game too.
That game was, I mean, if you're talking about a game to highlight, honestly, that one on its own could probably be it, because it was just such a turnaround for Toledo.
It was an incredible one to see there. Game 2 from Toledo was excellent, but Michigan Tech does wind up winning that series 3-1. And then, of course, last week was this big matchup against RIT, which, like we said, Huskies lost 3-0, but probably the closest 3-0 series that you'll ever see. Every single game decided by a single goal. Like, very tight all the way through.
Game 2 went to overtime, all that.
Yeah, and we have just gotten official word that Spring Hill College has forfeited this final match of the season, so Michigan Tech will end the year with an official 7-2 record. They will be the 3 seed in their conference, behind 2 seed RIT and 1 seed Seton Hall, going into the national playoffs. So, unfortunately, no Rocket League to stream tonight, but the result that you want anyway, Michigan Tech logs that forfeit win against Spring Hill. So, very exciting things there. But going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season shakes out for sure.
Yeah, because they got these top teams coming in for Nationals playoffs from each division. It's going to be crazy. Each one's going to be crazy.
Yeah, Cumberland, of course, is going to be a very strong opponent to lead off against. The 2 seed in the opposite conference. They're a very solid school. I believe they've only logged a single loss all year, and it was to the conference 1 seed. So will be a very competitive matchup there. Very solid team. But I do think that Seton Hall had the most impressive regular season out of any team in this bracket. I think that if they're seeded by just opinions of, like, if there's a seeding committee at Playfly that's going through making these decisions, I think they make Seton Hall the 1 seed. So we'll see how these matchups go. It's very difficult to predict how these matches across conferences will go, because the team records, they're different teams you're basing them off of. So we'll have to see just how well Cumberland stacks up against the Huskies, even if the Huskies, according to the bracket, are considered underdogs in that matchup. But we're going to go to a quick break and hopefully have a player interview, post-game interview for you all here. But before that, if you're looking to spice up your style, University Images is your official headquarters for authentic Michigan Tech Huskies apparel. It's university-owned, university-operated, University Images located right here in the SDC, or go check out bookstore.mtu.edu if you're looking to get some official Huskies merch, including the Michigan Tech esports jerseys. But beyond that, we will cut to a quick intermission while we get a post-game interview set up for you, announce the schedule for both the rest of this week and the postseason starting next week. We'll see you back in a moment. back, everybody. Joined tonight by Stewie. Once again for our post-game interview, I guess you could call it tonight. Unfortunately, Spring Hill not able to make it for tonight's matchup. But talking more about the season at large, you guys are finishing with a 7-2 overall record. Obviously, really good. You're going to finish as the 3 seed in your conference. I guess just, do you have any favorite moments from the past regular season here? Do you have any big games that you had on your eye? Like anything that you think you guys have really grown at over the course of the past few weeks?
Yeah, I think playing against first the real big matchup was Seton Hall. Playing against them really highlighted some defensive blunders that have been happening, but no other teams have really tested us to that level yet. So I'm really appreciative of getting that early on in the season because we've been really working on our defense, which was exemplified in the next important game against RIT last week. Didn't go as well as we wanted. That's okay. We saw improvement on defense, and that's what our goal was. There's just constant improvement, and I feel really confident over the next couple of weeks we're gonna have plenty of time to maybe put up a fight against them again.
Yeah, and so I mean, we've already talked about it a little bit. Next Tuesday, we believe you're going to be facing Cumberland University in that first quarterfinal matchup of the playoffs. I mean, just going into this game, do you have any particular game plan for what you guys want to do against this school? Like, what are you guys trying to figure out? What is the process, especially going into a playoff series, for how you guys try to prep for that and get ready for these big games?
Yeah, so it's a lot of targeted review. We'll probably go over some of the games that they played, try and find replays of their season, go through them, figure out where their offensive blunders lie, and then where their defensive ones are too. See which mistakes they make, where we can capitalize off of it, and then just go with that, and then target, how we play offensively and defensively and work around it.
Sounds
adapt
good.
to it.
All right. Well, Stewie, thank you so much for coming up for the post-game interview. I guess anything else you want to say while you're on camera here before I announce the schedule coming up?
Nope, not really.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for the interview. Coming up next for Michigan Tech Esports, we have the final regular season game of the year across all of our titles. The Call of Duty team on Thursday at 8:30 will be playing their last matchup of the year against the same Cumberland University you guys are going to be facing the next week. And then next week, starting up, we are going to have only playoff matches from here on out for the rest of the semester, starting off on November 12th with the Rocket League team taking on Cumberland University. And then at 8:30, the Smash Ultimate team is going to be taking on St. John's University in their playoff matchup. I should also mention, for the time being, we're not entirely sure what time the Rocket League match starts. When the bracket is seeded, we will know exactly which time. So hopefully, at least by the Call of Duty game on Thursday, we will know exactly when that game is set up to start. And then finally, our last quarterfinal matchup, the Overwatch 2 team is going to be facing off against San Jose State in their playoff bracket matchup on November 13th, the Wednesday of that week at 8:30. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Michigan Tech Esports tonight. Thank you to all of our partners for helping to sponsor our broadcast. I've been Scrimby, joined earlier by Trevor, and of course Stewie with me right now. Thank you all so much. Hope you have a good night. See you next time. Go Huskies.
Go Huskies.